Okay, this is Chapter 17, Part 3. We're going to try to finish up on our process costing example here, which would be the remainder of the chapter. And so the first thing we did, of course, step one was determine where our units were. And we used our T account to help us determine where our units are by group. And it was helpful to make sure that they totaled up to 120. And by virtue of our T account, we're in sync with that. We have our total completed and transferred of 80, our ending of 40. That corresponded to our T account. And if we subtract the beginning, that gave us started and completed of 60. So once we're in this situation, we have our units by group. We need to understand how much work we've done on those units. And once again, that's the idea. We want to allocate the costs to the work we perform. And the way we're going to define work is by equivalent units for both direct materials and conversion costs. And so I've developed two columns here. Direct material is one, conversion cost is the other. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down through and convert each one of these units into equivalent units for both direct materials and conversion costs. So let's start with direct materials. So with respect to beginning inventory, those units were added last period for direct materials. Remember, they all go in at the beginning of the process. Therefore, this period, no units went in with respect to equivalent units. So there are 0 equivalent units with respect to the beginning. For started and completed, all of the direct materials went in this period. We started 60 units, therefore 100% of the materials go in at the beginning. Therefore, we did 60 equivalent units of work with respect to direct materials. On the ending inventory, because we started those units, and again, direct materials come in at the beginning of the process, since we started them, 100% equivalent units for ending inventory. And so what we have is we have 100 equivalent units for direct materials. And by the way, that's the amount of direct materials that were added, and that makes sense. We had 100 units of direct materials that were added. They all come in at the beginning, and since that was what was added during the period, that is in fact our equivalent units of work performed for direct materials. Now conversion, we're going to use the actual percentages. So for the beginning inventory, we were 25% complete. So we got 25% of the way there on those units last period. To finish them up this period, we had to do the remaining 75% of the work. So with respect to conversion costs, we did 75% of the work on 20 units, or the equivalent of 15 whole units of work performed. So 75% of 20 is 15. Started and completed, we did 100% because we started them and completed them in this period. So we did all of the work this period. So that's the same as 60 equivalent whole units of work. And so, so this is 75. I'm going to do this so I don't have to take time erasing. Okay. Now the ending inventory was 75% completed. And therefore, this period, we went from 0 to 75%. We did 75% of the work on these units. So 75% of 40 units is the same thing as doing 30 equivalent whole units of work. So 75% times 40 equals 30. So here we have 105 equivalent units of work with respect to conversion costs. So if you just looked at direct materials, you could see that basically our total for all three groups was 100. If we were to allocate our costs, you could see that we basically would allocate zero of the costs for direct materials incurred. If you look at that $500, zero of it would go to the beginning, 60% of it would go to group 2, and 40% would go to group 3. So that's how we would, in effect, that's how we're going to allocate. So we're going to allocate the total cost incurred during the period for direct materials, which is $500. Okay, I could even write that up here. So I'm going to take the $500 and basically divide it up 0, 60, 40. And so basically $300 of it would go to start and completed, $200 of it would go to ending inventory. So again, the costs just follow the work. For conversion costs, you can see that that's, if we add those up, it would be a total of $210. Direct labor and factory overhead. We're going to allocate the 210, 15 out of the 105 would go there, 60 out of the 105 would go to group 2, and 30 out of the 105 would go to group 3. So that's how that would be split up. An easier way to do that is just to calculate cost per equivalent unit. So we're just going to take direct material costs of $500, divide it by the $100 of equivalent unit. So every time we see an equivalent unit, it's going to get $5 of direct material. For conversion costs, we're just going to take the $210. Remember, if we add up factory overhead and direct labor, we get 210. And here we have 105 equivalent units. So here we've got $2 per equivalent unit. So every time we see an equivalent unit for conversion costs, it's going to get $2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill out another grid, but this would be through step 3 of the 4 steps. Now we're going to go ahead and assign those costs based on the equivalent units and the cost per equivalent unit to come up with our completed and transferred and ending inventory costs. All right, so I've put together a little grid on the right side here with direct materials, conversion, and total. And this is how we're going to basically assign our costs to each one of these groups. So this is basically group 1, group 2, and group 3. So once we have that, we could fill in the boxes up above, but we'd also have our total dollars. So first of all, beginning inventory. We just know that our beginning inventory, our total cost so far is $110. And we have some costs to complete. So first of all, we're going to take a look at our equivalent units. How much work did we do? So first of all, we had 0 equivalent units here. So we had 0 times $5 equals 0. And here we did 15 units of work here times our $2 per equivalent unit. And that equals 30. So we add those together. So we have $30 here. So the total cost of our beginning inventory that was completed and transferred out, including the cost from the period before, is $140. Started and completed, again, we would look at the equivalent units of work that we performed. So here we would look at the 60 units right here. 60 times $5, and that was equal to 300. That's how we said we were going to allocate earlier. And here we have 60 units, equivalent units of conversion costs, again at the $2 rate, and that equals 120. So here we have $420. That's our total cost of group 2 units, and that's $420. So if we add those together, we would get total completed and transferred out production of $560. So that $560, if we go up above to the T account, that would be this number right here, $560. Our ending inventory, we've got 40 equivalent units of direct materials. So 40 times $5, and that's $200. And then we've got another 30 units of equivalent units of work for conversion costs at the $2 rate, and that's $60, and that's $260. And so if we add up, and that number would be right here, 260. So if we add those two together, we would get 820, and that's exactly what our total cost up here is. So basically then, what we're saying is the cost of completed and transferred out production is $560, and the cost of our ending work in process inventory is $260. So that's how we're going to do it, and that's a rather long problem. The problems that will be given on the exam would be shorter versions of this, maybe calculating the total units, maybe calculating equivalent units for either direct materials or conversion costs, or the last part, based on the equivalent units and the cost per equivalent unit, calculating the completed and transferred and ending inventory dollar amounts like we just did in this last step. So probably broken up into a couple different steps for the problem. And the homework will be similar to that as well.